You know what else? I gotta tell you guys, you know what? You come here to my church, and you sit here talking about how you want to learn. You want to learn from God. You know what? I'm gonna teach you something right.
Yes.
You guys better stop going around just skeeting in girls. You know, you gotta stop going around fucking. I know that's what you like to do. You like to have sex. And you know what? I know some of you guys out there have like 17 kids by 18 women. That shit is wrong. You guys shouldn't be doing that. You should be taking care of your kids too. You fucking assholes. I know some of you guys are out there preaching. You're out there clapping in the crowd too. When you're the exact fucking ones doing the wrong thing. And you're sitting there nodding your head and saying, hey man, even though you're the ones with the fucking 17 kids, you guys know what I'm talking about. You're a fucking disgrace. And you know what? I hate all you guys. This is the fucking ill-mind 17.
His name.
You know what, man? I'm out of here. I don't fuck you, Julio.
You're listening to Double D's.
I'm Dom.
I'm D-Respect. Damn, Hobson really made it personal towards the end. He was being vague the whole time, but then eventually he just narrowed it down to Julio.
Maybe by Julio he just meant like Julio's just a metaphor for the masses.
Metaphor for the masses having 17 babies.
Yes.
I guess. Well, how are you doing? So I didn't even try to do the whole like it because that's it. We're done. We're done with you guys. You guys are dead to me. Make sure you listen to the end of the show and you will hear several of your voicemails. And once again, we would like you to send us voicemails at d.podcast@gmail.com. How do you send those voicemails, D-Respect? It's very simple. Guy who lives in 1995. You take that stupid phone of yours, you go to the voice recorder, you hit record, make it very short, about a minute long. Let us know how you felt about the show. Ask us no fucking questions, and don't forget to call Dom a coon.
Yeah, that is the real key to making a good voice. Let's talk some real shit. How do you feel now that this show is it's like we're cruising towards that? We see the end in sight. How do you feel about all of this?
I feel wonderful about it. If I could liken it to certain people that I've liked in the past, I'd liken it to, for example, Star from Star and Buckwild, who you don't know who he is, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, you've told me about 20 times.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Don't worry your pretty little head. Just let me explain. So he used to have a show called Universal Player Haters. Great show, but it ended when it ended. But it's always something where you can look back and say, I remember when he did that show. There's growth, there's maturation when someone leaves a certain leaves a certain project or a certain show and moves on to something else, but moves on when it was good, leaves it on good terms. And I think there's a lot of power to that because I think what you and I both know is that we can leave the show confidently knowing that we can create something a lot more something that's a lot better than this, and something that's adjusted to the form of a collaborative form to the level that me and you have grown into.
Yeah.
You know, like a nice queen or a king size bed that you and I could both
See, what?
Just figure out nothing. Just
what?
Nothing.
What is this man? What is this man saying? I guess to piggyback on your comment, young brother. That's what we used to always say in the church. To piggyback on Brother Respect's comment, Jehovah is a merciful God. Mm-hmm. You understand? Mm-hmm. He is merciful and kind. To be merciful is to give mercy. You understand, young brother?
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you gonna answer this seriously, or are you just gonna fucking around?
Both.
Just answer it.
I'm thinking. I mean, I have learned a lot. I'm going to be glad that there have been times. I don't know. Have you ever felt like we have to do this show and it's like someone has a gun to your head, almost like, oh shit, it's like you got to go to work. It's like, okay, yeah, let's jump in. It's always. I've felt that many times, but there's a true magic about this show. I haven't talked about this publicly. What it is like, there have been many times where I feel like, oh, fuck, all right, we got to get into this show. I'm like down before. I'm like, let's get, we got to do it. Once we get in, and it's usually around like the 10-minute mark, we hit this zone. You hit this stride where it's like, I pretty much forget how I was feeling before, and then we get into that zone, and it almost feels like I mean, it's the same way when we're writing skits in person, we're writing ideas and things like that. And I guess if you guys ever meet a collaborator and you're like in that zone where you're like fixing whatever's deficient in the other person and creating something that's really good, hopefully you guys will get to experience that. I mean, I think I guess we haven't really talked about what we want to do in the future. I think we have like maybe 15-20% idea of what it might be. I guess it's pretty secret. What I can say is it's going to involve exhibit. Okay.
And it's going to involve a car being pimped.
Yeah. What happened to exhibit, man? What's he up to these days?
I don't know. I don't know what happened to exhibit. I just want to add on to that. See, to your point about the thing where the 15-minute stride in the show, to me, I could look at that as a sign that the show goes too well. The show goes too well, so then that's when you always have to sort of question yourself as a creator.
What do you mean?
You have to question yourself when something comes at great ease. Are we challenging ourselves? You know, are we challenging ourselves? Have we gotten this to the point where it works exactly the way that it's supposed to work? And that's fine. But now that means if we can do this so well to this degree, then that means we can do something else and get better at that. Because, hey, look, I mean, I'll even sort of frame this in your frame of thinking where it's like, okay, if this is going to be very stupid and remedial, but again, we're going into your brain.
Okay.
So it's a thing where if you and I have an idea, if we're having conversations, then it's more than likely than that idea is going inside the Double D's box.
Yes.
Okay. So what happens when you kill Double D's? What happens when Double D's doesn't exist anymore? What happens to those ideas? You know, so it's a thing where it's not only well, let's leave this because it's been fun, but it's also a thing where individually it might be something that might enhance either one of us, or paying attention to our own individual things. Obviously, you're doing your animations, you're doing your channel. I'm dealing with the new format that I'm dealing with, and I want to try to mix in other things to engage this audience. It's been a huge challenge for me because most hip-hop listeners have very short attention spans, and that's another conversation. But so it's very enhancing for different reasons, and I definitely feel like this is the right decision. And somebody asked me the other day, somebody said, why is it that I listen to older episodes and there's certain echoes every now and then in the middle of podcasts? So then I would tell them, well, that's because, well, you don't listen to the podcast, so you wouldn't know this.
I don't. Well, what am I doing right now? I don't know.
Yeah, so the reason why some of those echoes were there is maybe we're transitioning off to other conversations. Maybe something was mentioned.
Used to do that, yeah.
Yeah, something was mentioned that maybe, you know, for whatever reason we didn't want to, or, you know, for whatever reason it is. But those things were, the echoes were in there as sort of, you know, covering up. You know, it was makeup. It was covering things up. You don't hear that anymore because all these conversations are 1 hour conversations that just go straight through, unedited, even with awkward pauses or everything. It's all
We used to have a lot more pauses, though. I mean, I guess that was something that we had to learn, too, is like you're learning at pace. And basically what we're doing right now, as you're listening and consuming this thing,
we're sucking each other's cocks.
Yes, we're sucking each other's dicks. But it's like we're moving. It's like we're running, moving at the pace, and it's like a basketball thing. You're passing back and forth, but you understand. I mean, maybe you guys know somebody that you have good conversations with. You learn the person's like rhythm in terms of like how many beats are. I don't know really how to describe it, but it's kind of like. It's not quite finishing someone's sentences, but it's like keeping like perpetual motion, keeping like continuing momentum, and understanding how to build momentum. And there are many ways to continue a conversation. There are many ways things can go back and forth. Are we getting too meta? Or no? Or is this?
I think they want us to be that, though.
Yeah, because it's like we could talk about stuff that's outside right now, but. This is a very specific, strange creature that we've created, and it has so many different facets to it that we've played with. We have switches that we've turned on or off. I guess people don't know too that like you are the mastermind behind all the editing, the echoes, the skits, all that shit in terms of like how they're produced. Again, the editing, the echoes, and all, like that's all you. Like I had pretty much no.
Still, they hate me.
Yeah, they hate me too though. I get some hate.
No, that's just me.
Okay.
That's just coming from me.
But that, the editing and all that shit. Do you find that have we been using less characters like in the last like 50 episodes? I feel like we have. We've
toned it down, but I mean, there's reasons for that, which they will, they'll become hip to those reasons. But and plus, most of the characters, it's good if they naturally just die out. I wouldn't say there are any that have died out. It's just become more of the conversation because I feel what we should give to them is more conversation now that we're leaving. I mean, the characters are fine, and if they naturally pop up, they pop up. And, and yeah, right. You and I have gotten into certain modes where maybe we're indulging too much and we're fucking just throwing characters. They were just going fucking crazy with it. But, I think the strength of these next few episodes, I think it's really going to be getting down to squeezing more of that fruit that we've always kind of pummeled away at, which is self-confidence, which is creativity, which is being weird. You like that, don't you? So, beating away at that, because I know no matter where these guys come from, no matter what part of the world they're from, whatever backgrounds they are, they all have that in common. They have that in common in, maybe in one case, or, maybe there's one kid out there that all three of those things are things that he connects to. But I think if we beat away at that, I think these are going to be some really valuable episodes ending it out here.
What is there to... I mean, so what would you imagine is... Well, actually, I guess there's no imagining. Based on all these questions we get from these guys, it's the same kind of...
the podcast ending at episode 200.
Is that Boys to Men?
Come on, you didn't know what that was?
That's Boys to Men, right?
Oh, okay. You do. You see that's one of the things that happened.
Was it though?
You're fucking with me. You know exactly what that was.
I don't know. I fucking said Boys to Men twice.
See, I thought
and
you were doing
saying to me that no.
That was John Legend. John Legend. I'm sorry.
You're dumb, dude.
No,
first you say
that was John Lennon's Imagine.
No, you're dumb, dog. You're dumb.
That was Imagine. I said Imagine all the podcasts.
John Legend's Do you respect things that John Legend made Imagine? Okay, we're done.
Yep.
Dude, you're singing. I can sing better than you. We're not going to get into the conversation,
okay.
But I just want to put that out there. You know this to be true.
Okay, you got that.
Okay, thank you.
It's not true, but you got it.
Most of the questions, I think, revolve around, yes, you're right, self-confidence, specifically, I guess, how to cultivate it, or how we have learned to cultivate it, whatever self-confidence that I or you have gained. It's like maybe trying to impart some of that to these guys, and I would say that we have one key advantage in the sense that we both grew up in big cities. There's something about big cities where it's like,
you were born here, right?
I was born in Brooklyn, yeah.
You were born in Brooklyn, okay.
I was born in Brooklyn, dog. Brooklyn, son. Flatbush till I fucking die. Diversity, right? We get an exposure to many, many different cultures, different socioeconomic statuses, exposure to, like, well, obviously, like, a lot of libraries, museums, just technology, transportation. We can go anywhere we want from here. There's so much to see in the city. I've never said that DC is it is a boring place in some ways, but
compared to New York, it's boring.
Yes, but culturally, it's very rich here. I mean, like, there's always shit going on, lectures, concerts, like really smart shit happening in the city. And I think that you gotta. There's something to be said for that, right? Like, because if you grow up in Idaho or some of these places these kids come from, you kind of feel even more alone, right? Like you're trying to understand who you are, and no one is a fucking island, right? You gotta understand yourself in the context of where you're living, and very often it's like, okay, let's say if we're gonna get down to it, a lot of this shit comes down to how your family treats you as well, and how you perceive yourself in relation to what your parents told you should do, what your brother, sister, like all that sort of stuff. I mean, I think that's really fertile territory for self-confidence or self-loathing, anxiety, and all that shit. Because I'll give you an example. Stuff like, I was never encouraged to make art as a kid by any of my family members. It was always this thing of like, okay, Dominic draws, but, you know, you're not going to make money doing that. So you can do that if you like, but it's like a complete waste of time pretty much. It's like, what is he doing? He's still drawing? Oh, okay, whatever. I could have easily taken that and thought to myself, you know, like they don't put any stock in what I do. They're not supporting me. I'm by myself in this, which I was. I mean, that's the reality. I mean, I got encouraged, like, I guess some degree of encouragement from my brother a little bit, but I mean, it did mostly come from me. But the point is, like, you gotta. How do you relate to your family in terms of what it is you want to do, what you find interesting? Because that's ground zero. Like, your mom and your dad are the first haters or lovers of what you're gonna do. And I'm sort of hesitant to say lovers because, like, if your mom likes what you do, I'm here to tell you guys, like, that's fucking. It's pretty much. I'm not gonna say it's bullshit. Yes, it's meaningless.
Yes.
If your mom likes your shit. If your mom hates your shit, that's probably more valuable. And I'm saying we can build from there.
Yeah.
If you have a little bit of hate in your heart, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It really is meaningless. It's her job to. Not necessarily job. It's just there's no value to that for you. This again, you know, was a conversation that Dom and I were having when we were out with his lady friend.
Yeah.
When Dom's lady friend was kind of saying, you know, I'm you know, it's I know Dom, so it's weird. So, you know, so she understands it's a bit of an odd issue, but it's not their job to. That they're not the people that you're trying to attract. They are not the people that you are trying to get to believe. Look, if you can get yourself into a scenario where you and your brother, for example, you guys have this great idea, and you both, your brother's a developer, and he knows other developers, and you guys make an app, and you're the marketing person, and then by all means, that's great. It's within the family, but things like that are very rare. They're very rare things, so it's not important. I mean, what's important, I think, to remember is that you obviously live in a time where you can listen to goofy shit like this. You can listen to shit all over the place that's gonna empower you, and it's gonna instill that habit in you that you should continue to do it no matter what anybody says. I think the key for them is, I think at this age, is probably just compromising with their parents. You know, compromising certain things where it's like, well, yeah, I'm going to pursue this, but yes, I'm still going to go to school. You know, I'm still going to, you know, you sort of have to massage their own egos, and not really their egos, but you have to massage
They want to know that you're going to be safe.
Yeah.
That's honestly their primary thing.
Yeah. So you have to massage that and still move forward. But, you know, but anyway, man, I mean, I think that's what most of these guys have in common. I would love to hear from a girl. I would love to hear from a female listener.
Please,
that would be amazing. I mean, obviously we know that Talia listens to the show, but there are no other listeners to this show unless you guys are just in the shadows.
We had some trans listeners.
Oh, that could be the case too.
And they didn't even say that they were women, but we just heard their male-sounding voices. So, sir, I have to say that you are not LGBTQIA.
See, this is Dom mocking you. I hope you guys know that. This is Dom mocking you guys, and you look at Dom at the fucking at the
Pride
march,
Parade,
at the queer march. You're like, he's an ally. So we're making fun of you.
I'm just a piece of shit. I can be in the middle of a march and I look at someone running by with a flag. I'm like, what are you doing? And that's just how I am. I don't know how to explain it.
Meanwhile, you're out there.
Yes, I'm literally standing there, and I look over at someone like why are you here? It's a silly thing, but my compromise in that sense is like I'm fucking here. I'm physically here. My thoughts are not oppressive. They're just thoughts, and I just have cynical, stupid, like I just make myself laugh by thinking of stupid shit or whatever the fuck comes into my brain because I don't know if I'm neurotic or something, but that's just how my head works. I get angry at shit that doesn't matter, and I see things, and I don't even know why I'm trying to explain this shit anymore. Are you a confident person? Would you say that you're confident at all times?
No, not at all times. Absolutely not.
I am, dude.
No.
I walk in every situation.
I'll tell you when I'm not confident. When I'm watching a shitty movie. When I'm watching a shitty movie about a person who I thought was a pretty interesting and sort of once in a lifetime artist, and
I know who you
their
talking
reputation
about.
is sullied by a terrible biopic.
I know who you talking about.
There's never gonna be a movie about you, dude. And if there is, it'll look. You know what? I'm gonna insult you so bad you're never gonna come back to the studio again. You ready?
What do you mean?
If they were to cast Cowboy for a movie,
okay,
A Rock would be in the running as the lead.
Dwayne Johnson would play me?
No, literally a Rock.
You mean of Stone?
Yeah, yes, of Stone, just laying there with a tumbleweed going by and a cactus right next to it, and maybe a microphone.
But that's not a person. That's a rock.
I understand that, Cowboy. I understand that. But this is what the insult is all about. You see how you can't even. It doesn't make sense in your head. I'm insulting how terrible your personality is. That's what's happening here.
I have a good personality.
Well, it's subjective. What do you think about Damn, huh?
Damn.
Yeah, Damn. Okay, go away.
Yeah, man. That's
That's how you make Cowboy go away.
Nah, Cowboy. You said some mean shit to him just now, dude.
Yeah, but he's too stupid to insult. He couldn't even tell what I was.
He's probably in his room right now writing a fire ass freestyle to go against you. All eyes on me. Whew.
Yeah. Okay. Number one. Casting. All right,
worst to best. No. Best tourist. Because you guys are gonna want to hear the
Afeni Shakur, whoever that lady from The Walking Dead.
Michonne from Walking Dead. Yeah,
she was great. She was amazing. She had that great line, which I feel they shouldn't have revealed it because I think it would have been a lot more powerful when you were watching the movie. First of all, I just want to say that she delivered many good lines that would have been great had she actually been working with another actor and not a rock.
Hang on a sec, real quick. Finish this Nas line.
Okay.
I got love for Afeni Shakur. Because?
No, I don't remember.
Like, I think I fucking forgot. But anyway, said you raised the Ghetto King in a war.
Okay.
That was that's a fucking awesome shit. Anyway, I kept thinking about that while I saw it. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So the line which she told them, they are going to come at you with everything that you love. They're going to give you all the tools that you need to destroy yourself. Powerful fucking lines. Powerful lines. They come at you with everything you love. That's amazing. She was great. Suge wasn't poorly casted, but I will say that he looks Samoan, and I thought that was funny.
You're so hung up on that.
Dude, he looks Samoan.
He looks like...
No, he doesn't. He looks Samoan.
He looks black with like some Asian.
You saw him in that scene? He's like, I'm a man. Nobody fuck with me. That's that whole line.
Dude, don't put Suge as two in terms of best. Come on, dude.
No. Well, Suge, there's no response. There's nothing on that guy's shoulders because Suge never expressed any other emotions other than...
I don't think he was mean enough in the movie.
No, and partly because of that, I think they just weren't trying to piss Suge off. They didn't make him look too bad. No, they didn't. They didn't. I mean, that second scene with the food that some of you guys may have seen in some of the advances, that was just embarrassing. You know, he embarrassed that guy. Yeah, you know, afterwards they beat the shit out of him, but that was just like Suge was just being mean. I was just looking at, oh, Suge, don't do that. It wasn't like, oh my God, look what Suge just did. Then Demetrius Shipp Jr. I don't think he's a bad actor. I don't think he's a bad actor. I think this was a lot. You wouldn't expect somebody who just broken into Hollywood to play Steve Jobs. No, right. You hire Michael Fassbender. All right,
they got Ashton Kutcher to play in a shitty one.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher's shown some that was decent. That wasn't terrible. Yeah. That wasn't terrible, but
ain't no Fassbender though.
ain't no Fassbender. So you wouldn't. Why would you take somebody like Tupac, somebody who has so many dimensions, such a complex figure, such a complex person, and you were going to ask somebody just because he looks like him?
Yep.
Just because that's all this was about. This is all about he looks like him. That's it. That's all that's going to matter. As long as he can do the basics of acting, keep a straight face, maybe switch up his cadences or whatever, it's okay. We can coast off of that, which is fine if the story was written well and there was a good pace to it, but it's unforgiven because it's terrible casting with just bad storyline.
And I have issues with this whole visual thing. The mainstream audiences are so fucking pea-brained that they have to look at the actor and be like, hey, dog, you look just like him, B. And I've been one of those guys. I said that the first time. That's the first thing you say. But it's so unimportant when you think about it. When you really get down to it. Okay, the main thing I would say is like, okay, let it be a black person. Right? Let it be a black man. If it's Tupac. That's my only shit. Beyond that, it's whoever can play him best. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to be one of these people. Dude, people, remember when they ate Zoe Saldana alive for the Nina Simone thing? Because she wasn't dark enough. Remember that?
No.
Damn. All right, well,
she played Nina Simone?
Yeah, it was weird. They put her in blackface, pretty much. It was kind of weird. Okay. And they gave her, I think they gave her, a prosthetic nose. That was kind of weird. But, there are probably so many people who could have done a better job than him, but he looks like him. I don't know, and I don't know why that's so important. Like, because I'm getting into photorealistic art world. We already have images and videos of Tupac. We already have that shit. So it's like, I don't know why the visual is so important for people.
It's a literal thing. They have to.
But it's got a 20%. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, you're gonna fuck up.
He runs deep with people, dude. You got to understand that. I mean, you walked out of the theaters kind of, just kind of like, well, I don't really, give a fuck about this guy. He runs very deep with people. Let me explain to you. I was in a theater with two guys who, there weren't many. I would say about 60% of the theater was occupied. There were two guys who were sitting on my aisle. They were about 4 seats away from me and 4 seats away from each other. They were both on dates. And around the time when the Quad Studio shooting had happened, that's when their fucking podcast started. They started talking about conspiracies, about Orlando Anderson, all this shit, and they were just going, dude, they were loud as fuck. And
Pac was killed. Pac was killed by Illuminati, though, my nigga.
That's not what I heard, son. It's not what I heard. I thought he.
Pac, man, yeah. He was about to change the universe for real.
Yo, I feel you, my G. I feel you. Totally feel you.
I don't like how he says that.
Made you go.
It's the way he says that. It's not that he feels you metaphorically. He's literally feeling you.
Literally, your fingers are running through my hair right now.
You know what I'm saying? I really feel that whole hand, okay?
What kind of shit?
That's all it was. It was all conspiratorial.
Were they really saying shit like that?
Yeah, dude. Every time.
My nigga Suge Knight, okay? You gotta understand, Suge Knight. All right, and this dude is a fucking devil, all right? 666. I went on this site on YouTube, my nigga, and that shit said that Suge, S-U-G-E.
Hey, yo, you see that man right over there talking about Suge Knight? I feel that nigga.
You know I'm
Literally, I feel him inside in my prostate, man. Feel that nigga. Deep in my prostate. Colonoscopies, nigga. Dude, yeah, it was just like that. And the crowd, if you remember the scene where Tupac shot at the two people, by the way, that was confirmed that really happened. That Tupac
Damn. And he got off?
Yeah, and he shot at them. Yeah.
Hey, that's spoilers, dog.
When that happened, the crowd roared. They clapped. They were like, "Yeah, real shit, real shit." Like that's who this movie's for.
My audience was boring as shit in comparison. There was one dude a few rows back that was
because your audience is probably full of a lot of just like snobby hipsters who they're gonna go home and they're gonna appropriate all this shit.
It's all black people that was in the theater.
Yeah,
dude.
okay.
What you gotta say now, huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I thought so, dog.
Okay.
The dude a couple rows back, when he started talking towards the end, and he's trying to sound cool to his girls, like, "Hey, yo, he gonna die after this part, because that's when they recorded the shit." He's like, "Oh, yeah, okay, Nostradamus.
Yeah.
Great job."
Yeah.
And at the part where they pull up to the street, I got to give this guy credit, though. He knew the fucking street. He's like, "Hey, that's Colfax Street, and the intersection was this and this." So yeah,
turn into directions guy. Was like,
yeah, son of directions guy.
Son of directions guy.
That's the sequel.
The guy with the guy that was closest to me, I already knew the type of person that he was when the movie started. He was going to be the guy that was gonna try to aggrandize himself within the crowd by priding himself on knowing the words to the song. The words that every fucking body knows in the theater. He just everything. His girlfriend was so not interested. Like, she's so just not interested.
Was he leaning forward in his chair?
Dude, yes, he was waving his arms. He was waving his arms. It's like, dude, come on, all right, you're trying too hard. He was like, feel me, you know. It's like, dude.
How annoyed were you?
Well, I was a bit far from him. You know, like I said, I was about 4 seats away. He wasn't necessarily loud. He was loud when he started talking to the guy. When they started talking,
to the other dude?
Yeah, when they started talking to... Yes, remember I told you, this was a podcast between them. Across the aisles, they were talking to each other the whole time about...
Were they competing about, like, hey, you seen this, though? You seen that documentary? Was it like that?
I didn't hear the details of it, because I could still hear the movie. It was just them in the background. But my point by bringing them up is that I know that this movie wasn't made for the same people like Straight Outta Compton was made. Straight Outta Compton, in my opinion, it was made with the understanding that, okay, we're going to establish that we don't condone violence. We're going to try to make this an educational thing. How well do you remember Straight Outta Compton?
Vaguely. I think I fell asleep.
Okay. In Straight Outta Compton, there's this great scene where Ice Cube was in high school and he was in the bus, and his classmates saw some gang members riding by, and they were throwing up gang signs to the gang members. The gang members, they didn't think anything of it until they just decided to stop the school bus.
Oh, shit.
Wave the gun at the bus driver to get the door open, and then he threatened the kids. And like Ice Cube said later on, he gave them a motivational speech, because he told them, you better get gangster on those books. And he put a gun to the kid's head and everything. But when they walked out of the bus, they zoomed in on the bus driver, and the bus driver sort of smirked, like almost like, okay, good. These kids, they learned a valuable lesson. And the movie was giving you something there. The movie was saying, look, where Ice Cube observed all these things. He observed it. He didn't necessarily have to get shot to learn these things. He's a smart person. He learned these principles early in life, and he wrote what he saw. It's not we're not going to glorify violence. We're going to try to teach you lessons. This movie it wasn't that ambitious. It just wasn't. I think they just... I was talking to Rap Critic about this. I think the intention of this movie was, we want to make a movie about Tupac when he got shot. I think that's what it is. Because tell me if you remember, because you saw it earlier today, so it's fresher in your head than it is in mine. We're familiar with everything that we've been hearing. The first half an hour of the movie is just every year. 1982, this is what happened. Then we fast forward to 1994. Then the next scene, we fast forward. That's how they chose to tell the story. We get it. But I think that at the point when the Quad Studio shooting happened, after that, they started telling a bit of a story. You know? Or even before that, because there was the guy Nigel, who I didn't even know who Nigel was, but then
the drug dealer,
Haitian Jack, that's his name, and I've heard Haitian Jack. I've heard him in Tupac's records when
that's my cousin.
Tupac called him a snitch. But see, they told that story that you saw. He met Haitian Jack. Biggie came over and said, "Hey, are you sure about this guy?" And, then he ends up getting shot. So they were unraveling sort of the story that would eventually connect to, was Biggie linked to the Quad Studio shooting? They cared about that. They didn't care about Afeni Shakur's background as a Black Panther. They didn't care about her going into drugs. They didn't care really about his relationship with Jada. They didn't care. They wanted to answer vaguely, point in the general direction about conspiracies that you might have had. What was the government linked to it? Was it Orlando Anderson? If you don't know, Orlando Anderson is a guy that he fought in the casino.
Oh, he punched him. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a person he's been like the name that's been mostly linked to the shooting. Mostly linked. So I think Orlando Anderson was a Crip. But, there's other names, too. There's a lot of things. I'm not learned in this thing. There's people that could, we could bring them on the podcast and they'd be experts on the situation. But my point is that was the goal of the movie. Let's make a movie about Tupac being shot, and let's examine that a little bit.
But they kind of didn't. After he gets shot, they pan out, which is probably the best acting he did, was laying on the floor, honestly, and bleeding out.
Like a rock.
Yeah. Hey man, don't be talking
dude,
about
it's
me like
get
that.
over it. I think that would.
I understand what you said now.
Who would play Dom? Who would play Dom?
Dom is played by Omar Epps.
I thought you were gonna say Daniel Kaluuya.
No, Omar Epps on a good day, Daniel Kaluuya on most days.
Okay.
I just want the guy to be more handsome than me. That's all I care about.
Gotcha.
The best thing would be for Idris Elba to play me. That would be so great. It's
and Cuba Gooding Jr. to play me, of course.
Yes,
because you're gonna get to that.
Please,
eventually.
it's gonna be so funny.
Yeah.
No, but Idris Elba plays me, and he still has his British accent. He's like, "Oh, desire, Dominic Raab, and
subscribe to TSC."
Yes, I'm a great artist, and he's fucking all these bad bitches, and he's doing all this shit that I never did in my life. But he makes my life look so tight. And you are played by Cuba Gooding Jr., who's riding around in a shopping cart
and a radio,
yeah,
screaming, "Where's the money?"
So after he gets shot, the camera pans out, fade to black.
Gospel music plays.
Yeah, but they're like, okay, he was, he did this many records, he did this, murder still unsolved, no aftermath. They didn't want to put money into a funeral scene. They didn't want, you don't get to see his mother again. Mm-hmm. That was a little weird to me. So if this is about the shooting, then let's talk about the aftermath.
Well, I didn't say it was well done. That's the thing. I think, call me wrong, maybe I have to see the movie again, but I think that was the goal. I didn't say it was well executed. I'm not vouching for the movie.
I disagree. I think they touched on everything with just pluk, 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 Afeni Shakur, pluk, Black Panthers, pluk, J.D. Pinkett, pluk, pluk, pluk. And
but remember, then all of a sudden it was, oh, who's this Nigel guy? By the way, I love the scene where they're in the club and he's with Biggie, and the DJ goes, "Hey, big shout out to my boy Nigel," and then Nigel puts his hands up and he goes, "Hey," and then Pac tells Biggie, "Who's that?" And Biggie goes, "Nigel." It's like, I know that's stupid. That's not what I asked you. Dude, it's hilarious.
He sounded like, I think he forgot what it was like to act in Notorious, because I feel like
that's still the same. I mean, it was pretty consistent. It was still
he also lost weight, that motherfucker.
Yes, he did. He was
piece
smaller.
Of shit, dude. He needs to gain that weight.
Yeah,
back.
He needs to commit.
He's not a serious actor, dude.
No, I mean, he's typecasted. He's typecasted. So what are you going to do if you're him? I want to mention, and I mentioned this on Snapchat, I will not mention this in the video that I have coming up this week, so let me just get this out off of my chest. 15 minutes into the movie, it was already established that he is not a great actor. We can agree to that, right? He wasn't great.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's even worse when we say, okay, let's double down. We're going to make him act out that iconic scene from Juice with Omar Epps at the locker. So you're going to act like Tupac acting. And now you have to recreate this amazing scene that Tupac did. And you're not even a good actor to begin with. You haven't even established that you can act like Tupac, let alone be on that level. Like, it was asking so much of him.
Yeah,
it was too much. I think I could have done without any of the acting shots. Any of the acting that was a waste of time. The concert, there was too much concert footage.
They had to put it in there. You can't have a Tupac movie without the concert, man.
But there was too much of it. It felt like filler. It was like, let's just throw that in there.
It was it was super.
You guys
flat.
remember this, right? You like this, right?
And it drew the crowd. Yeah,
it's like they were just throwing a bunch of peanuts at us, you know.
And I gotta say, this is not minor. I'm not backing down from this. The sound production and the lip syncing was horrendous.
Didn't even. Can you you'll laugh at me. And Rap Critic was the one that told me. I didn't even notice that Snoop was voiced over. I wasn't paying it.
Is that why it sounded like so fucking fake?
I don't, dude.
It was like, hey, for sure, homie.
Yeah, like, I was watching it, but I was
laughing. I didn't realize why I thought it was so weird. It just was weird.
Maybe something.
It was dubbed with his real voice?
Yes. Maybe something fell off to me, but I couldn't pinpoint it. But then afterwards, when I spoke to him, he said his voice was dubbed. I was like, really?
Hey, for sure, homie. And he'd open his mouth and he'd be all loud and shit. The dude looked fucking ugly, so I was laughing at that, too.
He didn't have to look like Snoop either. I mean, it's... You know, that doesn't really matter.
Keith Stanfield didn't do that great as him either. I mean, he was.
Who's Keith Stanfield?
The guy from Darius from Atlanta. He was in Get Out.
Right. Okay.
Oh, hello.
Right. He was the Compton Snoop.
Yeah. So Snoop, Jada Pinkett was okay, but she didn't really have to do much other than be like, Pac, you stay away from them hoes. Oh, dude, MVP of the movie. Okay. MVP, top funny moment. Pac is in jail. The old black dude who comes up to him.
Right.
Do you remember what he said?
What the old dude told him. What that gave him like you're not gonna end up here or something like that.
Yeah, but there's something so.
What specifically did he say? I don't know.
He's like, I'm gonna be locked up here for the rest of my life, young brother. You got the rest of your life ahead of you.
Only you would find that funny. I didn't find anything funny about that.
He's make sure you bury the hot shits, my young brother.
You know what I did think, though? I did think that at the point when he had the guy lower the radio, I thought he was going to point at him and say, and now you can turn the radio back up, young blood. But no, instead he said, you got one more chance, nigga.
Yeah, he pointed at him.
He's like, dude, I'm going to fucking
turn that radio off.
Dude,
I'm an old head.
Whenever there were points where it was just like random violence, all you heard in the theater was real shit, real shit, real shit. Yeah, dude.
Wow, you live in the hood, dog.
Well, I mean, this wasn't in my neighborhood. This was around Yankee Stadium. You know,
it's even worse, dog.
Yeah, that movie theater isn't. Yeah, those of you who live in the Bronx, you guys know.
They got gunshots.
Dude, I went at 9 o'clock by myself. I've never gone to a movie theater by myself at night. It just never happened because I'd feel so uncomfortable because, you know, people are on dates, they're in groups, and I'll feel like a loser. But I was like, man, this is my job. I got to go see this movie.
Oh, I never feel like a loser, dude.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is my job.
Yeah.
That's my fun. Like, I don't give a shit. Okay, because these motherfuckers can suck my dick.
Yeah.
There was another funny moment. I think, definitely with Suge. Anything with.
Okay, I'll ask you afterwards. Go ahead.
The parts with the food was kind of funny.
I would thought you'd find that funny. Yeah.
Yeah. You like that steak?
I just like that corny line when Suge said, "You nigga, you must not be good at mathematics because this shit ain't adding up."
Oh
like,
my
shut up,
fucking
Suge. That was horrible.
I wish the dude had laughed at his face. Hey nigga, that's stupid. He put mashed potatoes in his mouth.
This
and
shit ain't adding up.
Ew, dude, what was that?
That was
You like the mashed potatoes? It's me, Suge Knight. Zippity bop. Dre. I guess he didn't have to be that.
Dre was forgettable, but there wasn't much to Dre's character.
I didn't like seeing all the hoes. Oh right, the sex scenes. Oh yes. Okay, when Pac gets his dick sucked in the club. Remember?
Okay. By his rape victim.
And it's so weird because she's grinding on him. I'm uncomfortable already because I'm by myself in this movie theater. I hate sex scenes in movies anyway. I'm sitting there like, oh, this is weird. They're playing the R&B. She's grinding on him, and I'm like, why? And then she bends down to suck his dick, and you see the little dick shape coming out of his pads, and I'm like, what? What is the purpose of this again? Like, why? You just want to put some sex in there?
What did you think about the how the rape case was handled?
I don't know how it really happened, so I honestly don't know how to judge.
Well, I mean, how it was painted in the movie that, Pac didn't want to have sex with her, and he went to his room, and all of a sudden she walked into the room, and...
I can't know. Seriously, I assume that, he didn't do it. Mm-hmm. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
They answered a lot of... Well, I guess they feel they absolved themselves of the big cloud that's loomed over Tupac his whole career, where people always say that he's a contradiction because thug life, but then, hey, keep your head up, be positive, do it, whatever. I think they felt that it was it would suffice enough that if they got Hill Harper to interview him and to press him for 1 or 2 minutes, that was enough.
Because then it establishes, why are you a contradiction?
Right.
I remember that.
It's like, here, we said it, we mentioned it. You happy?
I remember that being a thing a lot as a kid. People would say that about him. Oh, he has these different sides, and I don't even know why that's such a relevant part of like the discussion. Because I mean, white artists don't have to deal with this shit. It's only black artists when we start talking about their responsibility to the community. And I understand it's because, like, American black culture is, like, historically kind of impoverished. I mean, slavery, all that shit. It's kind of like the crack epidemic, AIDS, all that shit. It's like they have less history, too, and it's, like, more cards against you, so we need to band together, all that shit. But it's, like, their responsibility is, like... It's kind of silly to me. It's like people don't even talk to Eminem about what his responsibility is. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just it's a black artist thing. So I guess my counterpoint to people talking about him wishing that he had been more conscious is like, why is all of this pressure on one person to do this stuff? Why do they have to be these role models? And it's like, I guess to some degree, like Dee Snider and them were also kind of slandered during those parental advisory things with
Twisted
Tipper Gore.
Sister?
Yes, dude, you didn't know that?
No, I mean, you went from Tupac to Dee Snider.
I'm saying he was okay. I'm reaching here, but look, Dee Snider was also part of the conversation about like shitty lyrics, being a role model, and all that stuff. Okay. But to me, the whole. I don't know that artists should be tasked with that much of the role model thing. That shouldn't be that, like, it is their job just for them being in the spotlight, but it's not their job. Their job is to make art. It's not to be concerned about how a kid is how a kid is affected by it. And of course, Eminem talked about this a lot. But
I think he was forced into that role. Because he already had that sort of a mind, obviously with the background from his mother. Yeah. But if he was going to get fucked with by the police and arrested in and out of court, once you put a microphone in his face, he's going to speak up about the injustice, and people will connect to that, and then they identify him as some sort of a leader. He spoke about this. There's this really, I wouldn't say it's a well-known, there's this speech that he's giving at some local community center or something like that, where he's speaking to colored people in the community, and he's expressing the same exact thing that you're kind of saying right now, where you're like, well, this is sort of a responsibility. Like, why should one person have this responsibility? And what he's saying is very interesting, because he's saying, look, I'm 21 years old. It's fucking amazing that he's 21 years old, and he's giving the speech that he's giving. He's like, I'm 21 years old. I'm supposed to be getting the knowledge from him. I guess he's pointing at an older person. I'm supposed to be getting the knowledge from him. I'm not even supposed to be up here right now. But it's just we got to the point where all of us were raised by pimps. We were raised by thugs. We weren't raised by fathers or families, because all those people were shipped off to jail for reasons that you expressed, obviously, with the drug war and everything else. But So he's been, I think he was forced into that position, and I think that's where the contradiction comes in. It's one of those things where his audience told him what they wanted him to be, and he went with it. But at the same time, he was just a regular dude, just like everybody else who did a lot of dumb shit. So that, it doesn't mean he was special or anything like that. In fact, I saw an interview where he, I think it was after he got attacked by police, and afterwards it was, I don't know, one person was following him around. There was this really weird interview where he said towards the end, like, I didn't know anybody was going to take me this seriously, which I find is crazy. That's not the narrative that you hear about him a lot. The narrative that you hear about him is that he is determined and he knows exactly. You didn't get confusion out of him. Not confusion. You didn't get. What would that sound like? He was like, I didn't think I was going to cause this much of a fuss. Which I think is amazing. That's strong because people look at him as such an empowering figure, but it's just like he's just like,
he was a kid though.
I'm just a kid. How the fuck did this get this crazy this quickly?
But he probably just took that notion of him being on top of everything and ran with it. One thing they also did touch a lot on too is how he was getting fucked by death row, and I like how he was stuck inside of that trap. Yeah, with Suge Knight's label. I don't know if that's true or not, but I could see it.
That was always, and the reason why they didn't get into it is because I think it suffered from one of those the syndromes that these kind of movies suffer from, where it's like, oh, you've heard the rumors before. We're presenting it because we don't want you to say that we left that out. We're not exactly going to elaborate on it, and we're not going to show you why Tupac was motivated to ask out of death row, because they didn't give you that. There wasn't a scene, like they gave you the scene where he wanted to step up in Digital Underground because he saw that his mother was on crack. So I guess he was like, I got to make more money. I got to be the front man or something. They showed you that. They didn't show you what led up to him saying, hey, I don't want to be on death row. And I think it's just one of those things. And again, I'm not saying this is good. Maybe this is poor storytelling. It's just them saying, we don't want you to point this out. It was done with too much of the acknowledgement that people would watch. If that sounds like a ridiculous thing, I apologize. But it was done with too much awareness that people are going to see it and people are going to pick it apart. It didn't decide to be anything. It didn't just pick something. What they did with Hill Harper, they didn't handle any of that with care. They just, they got in his face about the misogyny, and they got in his face about a couple things, but they didn't really give a shit about it. It was just kind of like, and to some degree, I can understand some of it. This is a person that every fan has an opinion. Every fan has something to say about Tupac. They've got about 5 or 6 different things that they call him, different nouns that they refer to him to. Everybody has a different opinion on what the fuck he is. So that's what this movie suffered from. It suffered from too much awareness of people are going to see it. First and foremost, the casting. And then the way it was done and the way it unraveled, it was kind of like, well, people are going to say this and they're going to do this and we can't piss that person off and we can't do this. So it was just it was all over the place.
I don't think people care that much.
Oh, dude, I wish you were in that fucking movie theater with me. People clapped afterwards, man. People were like,
people didn't. I guess people here don't give as much of a shit. That's got to be it.
Yeah, man.
Then again, it was also like 12.
And let me paint this a little further to you. If I haven't annoyed you by making it very clear to you that I got the real experience because I was there with a bunch of filthy people. There were 2 separate families there with baby carriages. Drops the mic and walks away.
Oh boy.
And I just want to mention, I heard no babies during the show, but I did hear those 2 guys.
Yeah, I named my son Machiavelli.
Foolish nigga, son. Foolish nigga.
Machiavelli.
I don't remember what that guy sounds like anymore.
Did you know he made that album before he died, dude?
When else would he have made it?
Hey, I'm just saying, Illuminati, son.
That's what you heard?
Illuminati.
You saw a YouTube video? Is that what you watch in between your flat Earth videos, sir?
Between my flat ass videos. That's what I watch.
I would love to see a YouTube channel of flat ass guy just explaining flat Earth theory.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
I talk about how the Earth's a flat disc. Okay. It's like a centimeter thin, just like my
my wife's ass.
Here's about your wife's ass.
He has diagrams. This dude is like a PhD in his wife's ass. He has microscopes while she's sleeping. He takes like bio samples.
Why is she
from
still with him?
I don't know, dude. That's one of the brilliant parts of this character is like, I don't know if she even likes him. I don't even know if his wife is alive. I don't know if he has a wife or if he's just talking.
Whoa, so there's not really a wife, huh?
Dude, it might not be, dude. She might be gone. She might have left him because he was obsessed with her ass or something.
Right.
Or what if her ass wasn't really flat and he just thought it was?
It's a possibility.
This character goes deep, dog, just like Pac. You understand? Someday, who would play flat ass dude in a movie?
Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey, and
his greatest role since Dances with Wolves.
No,
but it would be Kevin Spacey the same way he was in The Usual Suspects before he revealed himself as Kaiser Soze.
Yeah,
just as what is it, verbal?
Verbal Kint.
Yeah,
but you know what's great about
unassuming and just
in the flat ass movie? What happens is everyone thinks that he's just this schmuck, and then after he reveals himself, he just goes right back to the old self. There's no other version of him. It's just the same one, but it's like a big reveal. I had a long conversation last night with my roommate's brother, who is a flat Earth theorist. Mm-hmm. He believes Earth is flat based on a 2-hour. Excuse me, my bad. Yeah, 2-hour YouTube video.
One video convinced him.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's convinced, and it's mostly because this is the kind. I understand these kinds of people now. Conspiracy theorists want to feel like they're part of an exclusive club. It's not about facts. It's not about what's even being discussed. It's about how they relate to you while they're talking to you about it.
Okay.
You gotta watch the video, my dude. You gotta watch the video. You understand? You understand? Yeah. You watch the video. It's gonna happen. And you try to show them papers. You try and show them numbers. We showed him a Neil deGrasse Tyson video where Neil deGrasse Tyson's just dressing him, like just addressing it.
Okay, I'm sorry. Before you explain that, can you admittingly, I'm terrible when it comes to this type of stuff, to this science.
Life.
Yeah, I'm just terrible at life. I'm gonna kill myself after the podcast.
Yeah.
What is the strongest and most common thing that a flat earther will present?
Oh my god, it's hard, man. Like oh god. The only thing that he said to me that I could not answer, or I really don't have no fucking ideas, because like apparently there's a lot of debris floating around the Earth, and if you see like an image from NASA, or like even if you go to a live stream right now, you don't see it. It's like not visible to the naked eye, or some shit. You don't see a bunch of debris flying. Maybe that's because it's like far off. This is easily resolved. If the smart person comes to me with an answer, Neil deGrasse Tyson's probably answered this. I don't fucking know. That's excuse me, but it's not just a dome. No, I'm sorry. It's not just a flat disc that they believe the Earth is. It's a flat disc, and there's a dome on top of it. It gets weirder. So they not only believe that moon landing was faked, all that shit, but the Earth is flat and there's a dome closing on top of us, so we can't get out.
And this is going on for how long?
What do you mean? The conversation?
Yeah, this conversation.
About an hour. It got to the point where we were shouting at each other, and
shouting at him.
Yes, at him. It was him versus three of us who were rational, and most of the time I was laughing and sort of shaking my head, and at some point I started streaming it on Twitter, and people were shitting on him too. And what I realized was that this was about him doubling down on his stupid idea. This was about him it was about the fight. It's about feeling that everyone's against you. You know this thing that everyone doesn't know, and they're against you. And nothing they say will make you change your mind.
Right. It's not about the actual subject.
Yep.
It's about Yeah, I know something that no one else knows.
Yeah,
and I feel that
just
makes
watch
me feel
the
good.
video. Yeah, just watch the video, man. Same kind of guy who believes like I remember he showed us a conspiracy movie from like I think this was like 6 years ago.
Been real big on the zeitgeist.
Yeah, this guy,
I'm sorry.
he showed us a YouTube documentary about Rihanna being controlled by demons in her Umbrella, the song Umbrella, the music video. And you guys can see it right now if you search for it. There's this guy who talks about why she's like an Illuminati slave in the video, and I remember him showing it to us. And even back then, I was like, "Dude, what the fuck are you watching?" Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's again,
the dark corners of the internet, man.
And this stuff is just, and they always had like Comic Sans font over like a PowerPoint slideshow. And I know like aesthetics is not important to data, but it's also like motherfucker. It's so cheap, and these people are not scientists. They're just dudes who have questions.
Yeah.
One good way to know that your shit is garbage is if there are no numbers and no answers to questions, but just questions. Hey, how come they let the Terminator win the election, man? Hey, come on.
It'd be great if Jadakiss could make a flat Earth song and just he asked a bunch of questions why.
I confuse them with Young Jeezy. They look so much alike, man. They do. They both have beady ass eyes. They're fat.
You know, I really do find that to be. Look, to be honest with you, I wish I knew a person that would come to me with a flat Earth theory.
Why?
Because dude, that means at least you're hanging out with people who are interesting. I mean, that's what I would, even though it's weird, but it's like, okay, try to convince me that this is great. I would love somebody to sit me down and to look, just as long as you give me some liquor and you give me some, like, I'll listen. Like, okay.
I listened to it, and it was funny for a while, and then it was 30 minutes in, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta listen.
It got exhausting after a while because he was dead serious and he was passionate about it.
Yeah, it got weird. But
oh god,
I will admit, but there's something.
What's even weirder is the fact that it won't last. Eventually, he'll just let it go.
Yeah,
you know,
you have to. I mean, it's.
Isn't that like one of those dreadful things about like human beings? It's like, I mean, we all do that shit, don't we? Like, we're really passionate about shit like that, and then like he'll let it go because like he got whatever it is that he wanted to get from that somewhere.
Which
else.
was not which was not the fact. Whatever was being discussed, it's not about that. And you guys, I want you to remember that, like, when you're in arguments, pay attention to what's happening. Like, step back from, like, if you're in this rock and a hard place moment, step back and think about what's happening. Especially if two people aren't going to change their mind. Think about, like, what are they getting out of this? It's a fight happening. You're saying, I don't want to go, mommy. I don't want to do this. I know it always goes back. It's like some Freudian shit, but I think there's something to be said about that. You regress to like when you were a child, and someone's telling you can't do something, and you just keep stomping your foot, right? Keep stomping your foot, saying you want it, or you can't. Either someone else can't have it, or like everyone else is against you. You're like wah, wah, like that type of shit. Don't think that stuff is just exclusive to children. It happens with the adults. I'm sure I've done it. Where I've just felt really like sulky about something and just bullheaded, didn't want to change my mind on something. But that's all.
I've tried to change your mind off of drinking fucking Jack and diets.
You have not, dude. You never have. You just make fun of me. You make fucking fun of me.
That's me trying to change your mind.
No, dude.
Shame you out of it, I guess.
You've not given me one argument as to why I shouldn't drink Jack and diets, and they're delicious. They're delicious drinks.
You know, I would think that watching these videos, and you let me know if this was the case. And you know what? I'll watch one later tonight.
Please,
Dad's gonna take an edible before he goes to bed. And I'm gonna watch one of these flat Earth things.
God.
Send me one if you know the one that he sent you.
Yeah.
But I would think that a large part of this wouldn't just be, look, here are the facts, and this is what we can prove that the Earth is flat. But doesn't a lot of manipulation go into it? Like, I would assume look, I mean, obviously, I'm a person that watches a lot of things that could be considered a little culty. I get it. So I know that a part of that about influencing human beings to think a certain way is you have to deconstruct their minds at the beginning. You have to tell them things like, you have to give them quotes like, truth is truth, even if it's believed by one person and not by a billion, shit like that. Like, did the guy
that's true, yeah.
Did he present things like that? Like, just
yes,
empty
because,
platitudes?
Yes, because, like, remember, like, and I paid close attention to this shit. And remember, I came from a cult, dude. My childhood was me being forced to believe shit that's just so fucking false. So I'm really sensitive to that shit. And one of the first things that he says, right, and you guys really got to pay attention to this. In this video, he starts out by saying, now most of us were taught that the earth was round because of globes. And we've been taught this for thousands of years, like hundreds of years, whatever. And all these people have been, like, this is what we're taught in class. But we're taught a lot of stuff in class that's wrong. So you know what I'm saying, right? It's like, this is for the fucking dumb guy who's never read a book in his life.
Who thinks that makes sense? Just because we were taught other, like, just because he would probably use Christopher Columbus as an example. Like, look at Christopher Columbus. Look, right? It's like, no, wait. Logically, that doesn't make any sense. That still doesn't mean that the Earth being round is inaccurate, dude.
But at its core, though, it's about, oh man, they lied to me. They lie to us all the time.
They lied about everything else. So who's to know? Like, who knows?
Yep. Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? That's like, it's who knows. It's like they're agnostics.
I'm crazy, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. That's really dangerous, man. I mean, that's dangerous because you tend to feed into things that you really have no control over because then what? Like, what's your end game here?
I don't know.
How does this end?
I love what DeGrasse Tyson says, and he ended the argument. Like, not an argument. There was a discussion with another with this radio personality, and he was talking to the guy. He's like, I don't have time to educate these people anymore because the facts are there. But he said, all I'm concerned about is that they are not involved in legislation or any major, like, ruling power or any stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's like, if they believe this shit, he's like, go ahead and do that. But if you have to make laws and, like, control what kids learn and all that shit, that's when you have a problem with me. Mm-hmm. We could take that further. It's like, dude, how many of our politicians fucking believe that, Christ died for our sins and that Satan, like a dark spirit, is flying around.
That's fading away,
controlling us.
That's fading away.
It really is, but you know, I gotta admit to you, I have a bitterness in me. I have this bitterness in me because, like, sometimes I think
you've communicated that. Like, I think in the first 15 episodes of this podcast.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm black. Like, I have this thing in me where, like, when I talk to a religious person and they're like, gay people, it's fine, and I'm like, no, you motherfucker, you're hiding, man. Mm-hmm. You're hiding. Stop acting like you're not the same people you were 70 years ago.
Yeah.
When you guys thought blacks should be stoned and shit. Like, you're coming from the same thing. So I hate that mentality of, like, oh, it's okay now. It's like, no, but it's not. They stop acting like so. The whole thing about, oh, it's changing, and like, oh, the Pope is cool with gays now. It's like, no, he's fucking not, and this shit should all be abolished. Anyway, the last fucking passionate thing I have to say about religion is you need to listen to these fucking voicemails.
Hey Dom, dear respect, this is Siobhan. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada, but I've been living in Hawaii for about 3 years now. My friend Jalen showed me you guys' podcast around 2015, and I've been listening to it ever since then. You know, you guys' podcast really always stood out to me a lot just because of the way you guys, like, brought forth your conversations and how you used the characters that you created to, like, portray certain ideas. And it really made the podcast stand out to me in that sense. And it really sucked to see it go, but, you know, fucking shit happens. I know you guys got other shit to do. It'll be cool, whatever. But I don't ever really comment because I feel like I really don't have much to contribute. But I mean, I did buy the skit cast, and I've always enjoyed all the content that you guys do on your separate channels as well, since I watched both of them. But yeah, you know, I hope you guys find dope shit and whatever you do next. And take care. Peace.
Hi guys, this is me doing my voicemail. Hope it's not too windy right now. Yeah, there's a lot I would really like to say about the show. Everything about it, I can't even articulate it all at once like that, but I just really love your guys' podcast. I guess I'm kind of a quiet listener. Usually I just listen to it on iTunes, but I live in Connecticut. I'm half German, half Colombian. I'm a little college boy, SoundCloud rapper, doing my shit, and I think I've been listening maybe like 2 or 3 years. I think you guys were like at 80 episodes deep when I got on, but yeah, by far my favorite podcast. Sometimes I just fucking wanted to die, dude, and then I just listen to your podcast. I'm like, oh, at least some people get it a little bit. Like, these guys, you guys are so funny, and I love all your art conversations. And I'm gonna be really sad without you guys. I'm not gonna beg you to, keep doing it if you're done with it. But I hope in the future maybe you bring it back, or like maybe you guys do like a live stream, your own live streams, or something. But yeah, I'm really going to miss it, and I know you guys aren't like the biggest podcast, but, to me, you made, and it's like the cheesy, corny thing, but this is the only thing I would ever say that about. Like, you really brought me a lot of extra happiness in my life, and yeah, sometimes I just really needed it, and I'm just really glad it was there. And I'm gonna miss you guys, but I'll always still follow you, and I hope one day you guys know my name too, and that'd be lit. I'm at Devin Makes on Twitter. But yeah, I love you guys. I'm gonna miss the show. Internet hug for both of y'all. I love you. Bye.
It's AJ from Baltimore, Maryland, man. 20 years old right now. Gonna be 21 in December. Over these 4 years, y'all fucking created this great content through this podcast. Really created a good world, a good cast of characters that have been really entertaining. Y'all helped me through life, just deciding to do things that really will change my life. I think I've talked to D about this before, and I'm actually stationed in Fort Bragg in North Carolina right now. I was sent on Snapchat. He told me send it a picture of us listening to it. Couldn't get that picture. Not a lot of people was really trying to get into it with me. It's a lot of inside jokes because they were like, I don't get this and shit like that, but who cares, man? I know I like it, man. I started listening through D Respect. His request series, first video I saw was Ty Creator. Really insightful shit for me from UD. To you, man, I like your outlook on hip hop, man. I think that I would love to talk to you about it and about the world of hip hop, because I think you don't give younger dudes like me enough credit for, knowing the difference between this new wave of hip hop and the lyrical side of hip hop, the kind of candy and then the good food of the hip hop world. I would love to have a conversation about that, man. It's just that I'm kind of upset this is gonna end, man. To Dom, you've just gave me the will to explore my creativity more. I write now, man. I do a lot of writing. I wrote stories lately, showed to my friends, and they like it, man. Thanks for doing that. You really got me into more of showing my creativity side. But through these years, man, y'all have helped me make this decision to go into the military. Just gave me the drive of like, man, go after what you want, and I want to have a better life through whatever I want to do. So I'm gonna use this as a stepping stone, And man, y'all have really helped me out through the years, man. And all I have to say is, man, long live Mapluktu and free Lil Quack, bro. Thanks.